Xiao Yan actually spent dozens of years traveling through more than 400 fragmented worlds. So do you know what the other fragment worlds of the Doqi continent are like? If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. Let us continue the story. Time flowed on. In the blink of an eye, 4 years had passed since the Taishu ancient dragon tribe found Xiao Yan and the others. At this moment, somewhere within the spirit creation forest, a spiritual power barrier, tens of thousands of feet wide, descended like a dome. Inside the barrier stood a towering ancient tree. On one of its massive branches, a seductive woman sat cross-legged with her eyes closed. Wave after wave of spiritual power surged from her body in an extremely violent manner. However, due to the existence of the barrier, these violent spiritual power fluctuations could not affect the outside world. The woman cultivating was Kylin Medusa. At this moment, she was at the critical stage of breaking through to the 9th grade Supreme. Therefore, she had been arranged to cultivate here under the protection of a Earth Supreme Elder of the Taishu Ancient Dragon Tribe. Suddenly, Kylin opened her eyes. At that instant, the heavens and earth of the entire spirit creation forest dimmed. A divine lightning bolt suddenly crashed down from the sky. 9-colored light erupted from Kylin's body, forming a gigantic pillar of light that clashed head-on with the divine thunder. The terrifying power generated in that moment tore open a spatial rift tens of thousands of feet wide in the sky. From within that rift, a 9-colored heavenly python slowly emerged. Although the 9-colored heavenly python lacked one word compared to the 9-colored heaven-swallowing python, it was actually a further evolution of it. It could be described as a fusion of the 9-colored heaven-swallowing python and the ancient heavenly serpent. Soon afterward, the 9-colored heavenly python transformed into streams of 9-colored divine light and entered Kylin's body. Below. Congratulations! Just as Kylin successfully advanced to the 9th grade Supreme, a faint laugh sounded from nearby. A red-robed elder slowly walked forward. He was Elder Donghua of the Taishu Ancient Dragon Tribe. Seeing him, Kylin stood up and respectfully said, "I heard that Elder Donghua has been traveling outside for 4 years, searching for a super heavenly flame for my husband. On behalf of my husband, I thank you." Hearing this, Elder Donghua waved his hand. This was the clan leader's request. Besides being able to do something for a future giant powerhouse is also my wish. The clan leader instructed me years ago to search for 2 super heavenly flames ranked within the top 50 of the 100 million flame rankings. Unfortunately, I failed to find them, but I did obtain an unexpected heavenly flame. This heavenly flame is not only ranked within the top 50 of the 100 million flame rankings, it is even within the top 20. It ranks 18th. If the clan leader had not personally intervened, we would never have been able to subdue such a super heavenly flame. Donghua continued. In addition, our clan already possesses 3 superior heavenly flames ranked 49th, 46th, and 38th. If Xiao Yan can refine these 4 heavenly flames, his strength will likely rise to an extremely terrifying level. Rank 18. Wouldn't such a super heavenly flame already possess very high intelligence? Kylin was clearly shocked. It was said that the top 12 super divine flames were difficult even for a heaven supreme to subdue. Elder Chuhu nodded. "Come with me to the Heavenly Flame Divine Hall. A divine flame of that level is no longer something that can simply be refined by force. We must persuade those heavenly flames to entrust their fate to Xiao Yan." With those words, his figure moved and he shot toward the distant horizon. At the same time, while Kylin followed Donghua toward the Heavenly Flame Divine Hall, far away millions of miles from here, within the ruins of the Emperor Alliance, inside a self-contained space, the vast land after the evil fiends had been driven away had gradually turned green after several years. Deep within this space, a black-robed figure walked slowly across the land. It was Xiao Yan. While everyone believed that Xiao Yan was still in secluded cultivation, immersed in the fusion of the plain Embryo, no one knew. He had already ended that long meditative state. Within that special space, Xiao Yan had spent 24 years, although only 4 years had passed in the outside world. Of those 24 years, Xiao Yan had only spent 1 year truly meditating. The remaining 23 years were devoted to one thing: walking. Xiao Yan had walked across that space for more than 20 years. But in reality, he had visited more than 100 worlds. Those were the fragment worlds of the original Douqi continent. Xiao Yan understood clearly. Fusing the plain embryo was far from simply refining and devouring it. If he knew nothing about the worlds beyond the Douqi continent, then speaking of fusion would be meaningless. Therefore, he spent 23 years traveling. Out of the 473 fragment worlds, he visited more than 450. Xiao Yan personally witnessed countless other Douqi continents besides the one he came from. In those worlds, he wandered everywhere. He conversed with Dudi from other worlds. He also drank and competed with those who were once considered trash, yet eventually rose to become top powerhouses. He experienced countless different lives. In one fragment world, Xiao Yan encountered a smaller version of the Gu clan. Within that clan were only 2 4-star Dao Sheng, 3 2-star Dao Sheng, 6 or 7 half-saint powerhouses. Compared with the Gu clan of his original Douqi continent, it was far weaker. He also witnessed another world where the Xiao clan was one of the rulers. In that world, the Xiao clan even possessed a Du Di. Alongside them were 2 ancient races, the Divine Puppet clan, the Ice clan. These were races Xiao Yan had never encountered before. This proved that the complete ancient Douqi continent truly had countless races standing side by side. Interestingly, in one fragment world, Xiao Yan encountered a man who looked exactly like him. However, that man only possessed Du Huang's strength, and even his name was different. Although the two became friends, that man was later killed by a powerful faction. Xiao Yan did not avenge him, nor did he dwell on it. This was not because he was heartless, but because as a guardian of the world, he understood that this was merely part of the cycle of the universe, something that should not be interfered with. During his travels, Xiao Yan also visited a fragment world composed entirely of ocean, with no land at all. That world was ruled by a race of sea demons, half human, half fish. Afterward, he stepped into many other worlds. Some worlds had continents floating in the void. Some were covered in eternal ice. Others were scorchingly hot beyond imagination. In one such world filled with flames, Xiao Yan discovered 3 heavenly flames: Green Lotus Core Flame, Fallen Hot Flame, 8 Desolation Destruction Flame. Not only did these heavenly flames possess intelligence equal to humans, they had even developed a method of reproduction. Each gathered flame seeds and formed 3 flame spirit races, waging intense wars against each other. It was a world of true battles of flame. Eventually, Xiao Yan returned once again to the special space formed by the plain embryo. He thought to himself, among all the fragment worlds, only 2 remained unexplored. One of them was an enormous world spanning tens of millions of miles, the largest of all fragment worlds. As for the other world, strictly speaking, Xiao Yan had not truly left it. In fact, he had spent dozens of years there. That world carried countless memories, because it was the Douqi continent that gave birth to Xiao Yan. There lived his family and closest friends. I wonder if that girl, Xiao Xiao, and that brat Xiaolin, have they been cultivating diligently or slacking off since I left the Douqi continent? Xiao Yan smiled faintly. With a light tap in the void, a spatial passage instantly formed. After decades away, Xiao Yan returned to the Douqi continent. The first person he encountered was unexpectedly the lifelong enemy of the little Dr. Fairy. Let us continue the story. Xiao Yan looked at the spatial passage before him and smiled. Next, he decided to return to the Douqi continent where he once lived. This was the Douqi continent. Now dozens of years had passed since the end of the Battle of the 2 Emperors. During this time, Central Plains had long since regained its prosperity. Aside from the massive chasm stretching for hundreds of thousands of miles, which divided the entire Central Plains into Eastern Central Plains and Western Central Plains, everything that had once been destroyed had already been rebuilt. However, in the past 6 years, a piece of news had quietly spread throughout the Douqi continent. Its truth was known only to a small number of powerful experts. Rumor had it that Flame Emperor Xiao Yan had left the Douqi continent and gone to another unknown world. Traveling with him were the clan leader of the Gu clan, the clan leader of the Taishu ancient dragon tribe, and his two peerless wives, Gu Shuna and Kylin. This inevitably reminded people of the event 10,000 years ago, when all Dodi powerhouses mysteriously disappeared from the Douqi continent. People worried that these 5 Dodi might never return, just like the ancient experts. In recent years, speculation about the disappearance of the Flame Emperor and the others had grown increasingly intense. Many bizarre rumors had emerged. Some were even rather absurd. Rumor 1. The Flame Emperor had never truly left the Douqi continent. The so-called other worlds were completely fabricated. Rumor 2. The Dodi realm was actually a mistaken cultivation realm. It was a defiance of heaven, something not tolerated by the world. Once someone reached this level, the heavens would gradually weaken their power until they were erased, preventing them from one day losing control and destroying the world. Rumor 3. This rumor mostly came from the younger generation of experts, many of whom were born after the battle of the 2 emperors. They believed that the Flame Emperor was merely a fictional figure. Their reasoning was simple. The legendary life of the Flame Emperor was simply too coincidental, like a carefully written story. How could so many miracles happen to one person? Furthermore, the path of Douqi cultivation was extremely difficult. Each advancement represented an enormous leap. Especially from Do Wang to Do Sheng and even Do Di, the time required was often measured in hundreds or even thousands of years. Yet Xiao Yan had advanced from 3rd stage Douji Qi to Dao Di in less than 20 years. On average, that meant 6 or 7 breakthroughs per year. To them, this was practically impossible. Finally, the massive scar left by the battle of the 2 emperors stretched for tens of thousands of miles. Young experts found it impossible to believe. No known Dusheng-level destructive power could explain such devastation. Even the strongest 9-star Daosheng could not cause destruction on that scale. Unless some unimaginable power had intervened, none of it could be explained. Hearing such rumors and speculation, as Xiao Yan stood once again on the land of the Central Plains, he could not help but sigh at the power of human gossip. At this moment he stood 10,000 meters in the sky. Above him the stars shone brightly. Below him stood an ancient and enormous tower. It was the former site of the Pill Tower. It was called the former site because many years ago, during the war with the Han clan, the Pill Tower joined the Tianfu alliance. After the battle of the 2 emperors, it officially became the Pill division of Tianfu, gaining access to far richer medicinal resources. The ancestor of the Pill Tower had now become a high elder of Tianfu. His strength had reached peak 8-star Dao Sheng. Xiao Yan quickly descended. He sensed 2 familiar auras within the giant tower. One was Xuan Kongzi, one of the former 3 giants of the Pill Tower. The other was old Monster Hao, who once competed with him in alchemy. Xiao Yan was puzzled. Why were these 2 still guarding this abandoned place? Passing through the Pill Tower gate and walking through the corridor where space twisted at the end, Xiao Yan entered the independent space of the little Pill Tower. The air was filled with the rich fragrance of medicinal herbs. Smiling, Xiao Yan looked toward a stone platform on a distant mountain. Xuan Kongzi was sitting there in cultivation. At the foot of the mountain, old Monster Hao was busy planting high-grade medicinal herbs. Beside him stood a massive pill furnace, still warm. The messy surroundings showed that a pill had just been refined. Judging from the aura, it was very likely a true 9th-grade pill. Xiao Yan quietly walked behind old Monster Hao and calmly asked, "Old Monster Hao, did your 9th-grade pill succeed?" "Old Xuan, are you joking? This Tai Xuan pill was refined by the 2 of us together, and you're asking me now?" Old Monster Hao replied casually while turning around. Before he finished speaking, his gaze froze. He stared at the familiar figure before him. Xiao Yan, didn't you leave the Douqi continent?" "I'm back," Xiao Yan replied calmly. At the same time, he used the power of the plain Embryo to lightly scan old Monster Ho's recent memories. From them, he learned that these two stubborn old men had stayed here because they had deep emotional ties to the pill tower. Compared with the prosperity of Tianfu, they preferred the familiar atmosphere here. In fact, they were the only two who had chosen to remain in the pill tower. Upon hearing Xiao Yan's words, old Monster Ho became extremely emotional and was about to speak. But suddenly he realized that Xiao Yan had already vanished. Meanwhile, on the mountain peak nearby, beside the stone platform where Xuan Kongzi sat meditating, Xiao Yan quietly appeared. The two sat facing each other. Xuan Kongzi was currently at peak 1-star Dosheng, right at the crucial moment before a breakthrough. Xiao Yan did not disturb him. He merely flicked his finger gently. A faint streak of light silently entered Xuan Kongzi's body, instantly clearing all the obstacles to his breakthrough. A surge of vast Do Qi erupted, and at that exact moment, Xiao Yan quietly left once again. When old Monster Hao hurried over, Xuan Kuzi had already successfully advanced to 2-star Dao Sheng. But no matter how he looked around, there was no trace of Xiao Yan, as if everything that had just happened had been nothing more than a dream. In the southern region of eastern Central Plains, there stretched a mountain range tens of thousands of miles long. Above it covered a massive barrier 100,000 miles in diameter. This was the largest mountain range on the Douqi continent. It was now called the Tianfu mountain range, because the faction located there was one of the two overlords of the Douqi continent today, Tianfu. At present, everyone on the Douqi continent knew that the two most powerful factions were Tianfu, the Gu clan. Following them were the Taishu ancient dragon tribe, the Yan clan, the Lei clan, and the faction considered most likely to become the third great power was the rapidly growing Xiao clan. Despite all the rumors, among the older generation of experts on the Douqi continent, the title Flame Emperor still carried unshakable authority. This authority had transformed into the future potential of the Xiao clan. Within the vast Tianfu mountain range beneath the barrier stood countless palaces and towers. They were divided into hundreds of cities. Outside the barrier, patrol squads of hundreds or thousands of people constantly moved back and forth. Their duty was to prevent outsiders from entering Tianfu. There were about 200 patrol squads, totaling nearly 10,000 people. Among them were over 7,000 Do Wang, over 2,000 Du Huang, hundreds of Dozong and Daozun, and 3 Do Sheng. Such a force in any super faction of the Central Plains would represent its entire strength. Yet in Tianfu, this was merely the patrol force. One could easily see how deep Tianfu's foundation was. Although the public believed that the current leader of Tianfu was only a 4-star Dao Sheng, thinking he was the strongest would be a huge mistake. The true powerhouses of Tianfu were the High Elders. They were genuine high-rank Do Sheng experts. When enraged, they could destroy a top-tier faction with a wave of their hand. However, at this very moment, within one of Tianfu's core cities, someone was openly challenging the authority of Tianfu.